Hey y'all, good morning. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I was just thinking I'm still reading this book by David Allen called Putting It All Together. And he's getting to the point where he's talking about prioritizing things and all that kind of stuff. And he says something that I resonated with so much. If you're into productivity, I'm sure you've heard of the Eisenhower matrix, right? Where you got your little you got your X and your Y axis, and then you got the urgent and important, the important, and then you got your urgent and important, and then if it's urgent and important, you have to do it right now, right? Or if it's not important but it's urgent, you don't have to do it right now, but you got to figure out what to do. I feel like you got to take that another step further. And honestly, I don't even really use that because it doesn't help. I think if the main thing or the key thing that's so important, and they talked about this in this book, is that all this urgent, important stuff is not going to work unless you're looking at it in the full framework of your life. Unless you are taking the moment to look at what does this mean? What truly do you value in the moment? So for instance, right, taking on this client, this new client, is probably super important and super urgent for you in your particular business, right? Because you need a new client, this person has reached out, and you're down to the deadline on what you're gonna do, right? But taking on this client is going to push you away from something that you value. Maybe being able to be a part of your kids' sporting events, right? Or like going to your kids' soccer practices, and you have established that this is important for you, right? So how do you make a decision about what is to happen, what is supposed to happen versus what isn't? Both of them are urgent. Both of them are important, right? And maybe somebody will argue that these things aren't urgent, but what are they for you? Anyway, how do you make a decision then? You don't make a decision by putting it on that square and saying urgent and important. No, you make a decision based on what you value, based on those key areas of your life that you've established your principles, you've established your values in, right? That's why I always teach people whenever we start to work together is that the first thing we doing is that we're establishing what is important to you in those 6 key areas of your life, which is God, your body, your mind, your family, your friends, and your finances. And then we start to pile on all the different things. So priority is about what you value, okay?